Welcome to the Monday, April 7th, 2025 meeting of the Fitchburg School Committee. I call this meeting to order. Please be advised FATV is conducting an audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. If anyone in the audience is recording this meeting, please state your name. Seeing none. Now I ask all electronic devices be placed into silent mode, please. And we will do the salute to the flag. Student Rep James Cannon, can you please lead us in the salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Next up on our agenda, we have school committee member and student reports. School committee chair report, none at this time. Resource subcommittee report from the March 18th meeting.
Okay. Resource, we had a short meeting. We had one grant to accept, and that's on the agenda for tonight. We give an enrollment update by Nick Packard. We went over the budget a bit coming up and did some line item reviews. There was some talk about substitutes for long-term nurses sub. That was a very short meeting on a resource.
How is our sub situation?
Our sub situation? We currently have a small select pool of subs in a lot of our schools. Some of our schools have permanent building subs hired, some of them do not. But what we do have as the option now is to pay our current teachers who are in the district. They're able to actually give up their prep period and actually sub, or if they are absorbing kids, they also get to sub too. If we need them to. So there's a certain amount that we pay them when they give up that prep period and they cover for their colleague who's out.
So we are in need of additional,
we are in need of additional
building subs
Yep.
that...
Daily subs, building subs, substitute paraprofessionals, yes. Please apply.
Please apply.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And substitutes are a need in every school district in Massachusetts. There's not enough. So.
Great. Thank you. All right. Any other questions on resource subcommittee? School building needs?
School building needs, again, we had about 4 pages of work that was done by our building department. Just a few of the notables. The portable classroom at Memorial, they noticed that there was a leak. Weekend building inspector, that's something we've had ongoing, somebody checking the buildings on weekends, and the building weekend inspector found that there was a leak in the ceiling, and they cleaned it up. They found there was no asbestos, and they made 13 patches on the roof.
At Memorial? At
Memorial. In the portable classroom.
Oh, yeah.
The front doors at Fitchburg High School have been replaced. The masonry wall was deteriorating, and those walls would be replaced during April vacation. At South Street, the most recent fire alarm inspection, it was determined that 2 pull stations had to be replaced. Fire equipment was replaced. That was taken care of. In Memorial, again, there was a problem with the generator, and that has been taken care of by Piper Electric from Leominster, handling. There are 2 lines that come into our schools, one at Rheingold and one at Memorial, that are owned by us. The
Transformer. We own the transformer.
We own them, and not the.
We own the transformer?
Yes, those the only 2.
I didn't know you could own a transformer. We learned that recently.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and what we worry about, that's big bucks if they go, and we're responsible for it.
We found that out. Sorry, we found that out when we were looking at the HVAC project there. And one of the updates that would need to happen when we do move forward with updating the HVAC is the actual transformer, because it won't handle the load.
So in 67 and 69, when those two buildings were built, part of the cost-saving measure, I'm sure, when they built the building was that we took ownership of those transformers. And what, about $250,000 that they go? Yeah, big bucks.
Well,
Or-
they said 750 for Ryan Golden Memorial, minimum.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was taken care of. So hopefully it will hang on. Just one other note, we've had, I'd just like to mention they don't get enough credit as we get these 4 pages of reports. And one of our people, Chris Stevens, who was our senior school building maintenance carpenter, is leaving Pittsburgh to become the director of Lunenburg Public Schools at the end of March. And Chris has been a member of our department since 2012. And I wish Chris the best of luck. He was a great employee for us in Pittsburgh.
I agree.
That's it.
Any questions on school building needs? I have one. The replacing of the front doors at Fitchburg High School, the gutter at the corner there when you enter on the right, I mean, that just drips right into the, are we fixing that? Are we gutter?
I'll write that down.
into
I'll
it.
follow up.
I mean, it feels like that might be a
We
major
still have some
contributor.
work to do for the last 5%. So I'll add that to the list.
Is it not? It's
It
coming right down? I'll
Kind
take
of
a look.
drips right where the doors are.
Okay.
Yeah, they still
And
have,
it feels like it probably, it's part of the cause of deterioration.
Okay.
I mean, really, along,
yeah, a lot of.
really, it feels like we cost engineered gutter out of that building 25 years ago.
That's probably,
It's a
yeah.
possibility.
Water is the number one cause of damage,
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Was a good example for those knee walls that connected the 4 door sets that just disintegrated.
Which is
Took
that-
the doors
is that
out
why-
from water.
Disintegrating. Yeah.
Right, so whatever we can do
Yeah,
to
I'll follow
mitigate
up
that through miscellaneous metals, I guess.
on the project. Yep.
Great, thank you. All right, moving on. Policy Subcommittee.
Our March meeting needed to be canceled, so I have nothing to report at this time. But we're meeting on April 30th from 5 to 7 at central office.
Where are we now?
Shit.
Did we finish
Jay, I believe.
J?
Yeah, that's,
We're moving along.
we really are doing a lot of important work.
When do we anticipate we'll have the revised policies complete?
She was thinking possibly if we kept moving at the pace we were, she thought by the end of the year, if not at the beginning of next year, so.
The end of the school
Close.
year?
Yes,
Yeah,
end of the
because-
school year this year and then beginning of next school year, somewhere in that window.
And after that, all of our policies will be available online and searchable?
Right, and part of the plan is to have enough time between when we bring it forward to everyone for people to be able to really look at it, because there's a lot, and then to vote on it.
As a
So,
comprehensive?
yeah, right.
And we'll have all the policies updated and the policies removed from the 1970s.
Right. It's been interesting work,
It is, it has been interesting. I'm
Yeah.
glad it needed to happen.
right.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay. Student Support Subcommittee. When,
Dr. Knight just came off mute.
Student Support Subcommittee, I know we met a couple months ago.
We met on March, what was the last meeting, the 16th? Is that our last meeting?
No.
17th, March 17th, we met that
Was
day.
there a March 17th
Yep,
meeting?
We had a meeting that day, and Rosemary reported out for us.
Okay. So the next
Yep, next meeting is scheduled for Monday, May 5th.
Monday, May 5th, Dr. Knight? You are, looks like you're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Yep, we can't
Yeah,
hear
we can't
you.
hear you, Dr. Knight. Yep.
Okay. Monday, May 5th.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you.
Comments? Questions? Okay. Moving on, school personnel, we have no report at this time. Student representative report.
Hello. Fitchburg Public Schools is holding the annual Heart of the Burg Art Show at the Fitchburg Senior Center at 14 Wallace Ave on May 22nd from 5 to 7. Rheingold's annual Bunny Breakfast is on Saturday, April 12th from 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. The Gallery Marquee is hosting an open call for submissions for the upcoming photography exhibition, Student Life, Our Story. This exhibition aims to highlight the experiences, memories, and perspectives of student life. They're inviting photographers and students throughout Worcester County to submit a photography that tells their story. So whether you're currently in school or reflecting on your time as a student, there's an opportunity to share a powerful picture that you've taken. Submissions are being taken until April 22nd. The link to the submission Google form is on the Fitchburg Public Schools Facebook page, and then accepted artists will receive a notification via email with drop-off instructions. South Street School is holding a Get to Know Your School night for new families on April 30th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. They're offering enrollment help, tours of the school, and meetings with staff. The third annual Princess Boutique will take place on Thursday, April 17th from 2:10 to 3:30 in room 311 at FHS. The Princess Boutique is an event sponsored by the Latin American Club and will offer free prom dresses and accessories. Students will be able to try on gowns, have photos taken, and participate in raffles. They are also accepting donations of dresses, shoes, jewelry, hair accessories, handbags, clothes racks, or cash donations to expand the raffle. Cash donations can be made in person to Mrs. Rivera in room 311. We're also looking for volunteers who would like to help during the event. The Fitchburg High students and families are invited to attend International Night on April 16th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. The goals of the event are to celebrate the cultures of FHS and to kick off our parent-teacher organization recruitment. The International Night will begin with a short presentation on the structure of a PTO. Families will then be encouraged to walk around the area and experience all the many cultures represented at FHS. And then we have some record-breaking sports news. FHS softball player Mackenzie Roy, congrats for posting her 100th career hit. With that hit, she passed Hall of Famer Karen Lamarney of the class of '87 on the all-time hit list.
Woohoo! Wow. Yeah!
And congratulations to Leanna Draper, who set a new outdoor track record of 11.9 in the girls' 100-meter dash. Right. The previous record of 12.2 was set in 1994 by Christy Webster.
Wow!
And another shameless plug for the musical, Young Frankenstein at FHS. It's May 1st and 2nd at 7 p.m., and then May 3rd at 2 p.m. and 7:30 p.m.
Nice.
And awesome. Superintendent Thompson is getting a cameo, right?
I hope you're ready.
Thank you, James. Any questions?
I do. James, do you know, can we buy tickets at the high school, or can we buy them at the door? Or?
You can buy them there at the door.
Okay, thank you.
I think there's also going to be a website where you can get them online.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the details of that yet.
Okay, thank you very much.
She said she broke Karen Lamarine's record. Or Karen just went into the Hall of Fame this past year.
Oh, no way.
Ah. I smell a future Hall of Famer.
I do, too.
Yes, I do, too.
All right, thank you. And, that reminds me, James, so we had a discussion when, during your break when you were not here, that, we really, the new policies really encourage student representatives to be able to ask questions and engage with the business of the school committee. So, I kind of have been looking this way when I've been asking if anyone has any questions or comments. But if you have questions or comments on any items in the agenda, feel free to, you just cannot vote on matters, but you're here to ask questions, comments, and engage, right?
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James.
Good job.
Okay. Moving on, we have approval of the minutes of the school committee meeting from March 17th.
Make a motion, we approve the March 17th minutes.
Second.
Second. I'd like to make one minor correction.
Okay, we have a proposal for an amendment.
In that very first paragraph of the minutes just should read, Peter Stevens, Vice Chairperson, presided at the meeting.
Where did I put my minutes? Oh, here they are. Which one? Where is it?
Very first paragraph at the top.
Oh. Oh, okay. You see that, Mary Alexandra? Okay.
Sure do.
Amend Mayor Samantha Squalia to Pete Stevens, Vice Chairperson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I guess, need a second.
Second.
Second now.
We need to do a roll call vote.
Roll call.
Oh, we do need a roll call.
That's right, yeah.
All right, can we get a roll call for that amendment, please?
Mayor Squalia,
Aye.
Mr. Stevens.
Yes.
Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Dr. Knight.
Yes.
Yes, that's a thumbs up.
And Mrs. Jeffries.
Yes.
Okay, great. Approval of the minutes as amended?
Another motion?
Second.
Oh, yes.
Motion and second to approve the minutes as amended. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Squalia,
Aye.
Mr. Stevens.
Yes.
Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Dr. Knight. Mrs. Jeffries.
Yes.
Okay, minutes are approved. Thank you, everyone. All right, next on our agenda, we have communications. Do we have any communications?
No communications this evening.
No communications, all right. Public comment. We have public comment of no more than 2 minutes in length were offered to be submitted to superintendent by noon today. Did you receive?
I did not receive any emails.
All right, great. Anyone in the audience that wishes to speak for public comment? All right, seeing none, we will move on to the business on the agenda. We have superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone had a great Monday. This evening, we have a few items. The first item is our math update from our math director, Tammy Chandler. So, Tammy, come on up.
John, see, May 6th is not
All right.
I have no information.
Am I putting this in
Cross out May 6th.
Say it one more time.
PowerPoint?
I have it. Would you like me to do it, or would
Oh,
you
you
like
can
to?
do it.
I can. Okay.
Perfect.
It's crossed.
Yeah, cross that.
Give me 1 second, Tammy.
I'd like to note for the record that you're the first one to present expert witnesses to help you with your presentation.
I'm the smartest one, you mean, right? Yes. Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right, Tammy, you're all set.
All good, all right. Well, hello. I think I saw all of you last year, so here I am again. So I'd just like to share a little update for the past year in mathematics, and as you can tell, I also have some visitors who will share the end of my presentation. So we'll get started with our instructional vision. We're constantly going back and revising and editing our vision, but our instructional vision for math education at Fitchburg Public Schools is creating an inclusive and equitable math classroom. We want to make sure that every student is empowered to succeed and collaborate and develop lifelong love for problem solving. We're promoting mathematical discourse, collaboration, and a growth mindset, ensuring all learners have the opportunity to thrive regardless of background or ability. And this is still grounded in the same work as the last time. Our teacher learning is grounded in the NCTM teacher practices. Effective math educators, we establish goals, we implement tasks that promote reasoning, we use and connect mathematical representations. Our student learning is grounded in the standards of math practice. We want to make sure that our students make sense of problems and they persevere in solving them. They're reasoning abstractly, they model, and this is all connected to our instructional priority, our district instructional priority. So we want to make sure that our students have daily opportunities to explain and justify their thinking. Our learning experience, our classrooms, we're excuse me, we're promoting a growth mindset. We want to build the confidence of our Fitchburg students. We embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. We're focusing on effort and process, not just getting the correct answer, but persevering in mathematics. We're constantly celebrating successes, no matter how big or small. We are continuing to foster mathematical discourse and collaboration. We're encouraging peer-to-peer discussion. We're promoting group work where students can share their problem-solving strategies, which is a lifelong goal for our students. We're using open-ended questions, and we're creating a safe, inclusive environment. I do have some exciting news to share. Since post-COVID 2021, our district student growth percentile has increased up to 47.8%, with the state being at 50%. So we have closed the gap between our high needs, which is very exciting. We have measured student voice in the classroom as well through our partnership with Amy Lucenta and Grace Kelmanek. So we have recognized that many of our teachers are stepping out of the middle and allowing for our students to have discourse and are active in their own learning. And then our student performance, we exceeding and meeting expectations. We went from 14% in 2021 to 23%. So that's an increase of our students that are exceeding and meeting expectations. And then we have decreased from 38% to 28% in not meeting expectations. So that is something to celebrate. Some highlights that we have. Got it? Okay.
Is that the right one?
Yeah, that's it. Just some highlights for the past year since I was here. We are seeing an increased confidence in math. We're strengthening the mathematical thinking. There's a noticeable improvement in students' problem-solving abilities, conceptual understanding, and real-world application of mathematical concepts. Our teachers have actively participated both in school and at a district level in professional development facilitated by our coaches, as well as external providers who work all across the country with districts. Our Fitchburg High School students participated in the 42nd annual Elizabeth Haskins Mathematics Contest, which is coming around in the next few weeks, and we have a group that will be competing there again. This year, we have 50 eighth graders for the first time that have will be completing algebra. So this is allowing them to advance to geometry at Fitchburg High next year, opening up more opportunities for them and setting students on a pathway to college. My colleague, Julie Faniff, and myself were able to go to the NCSM conference in Chicago, where we shared our story, our Fitchburg story, highlighting the work that we're doing with planning and coaching across all content areas. So I think I spoke about that last year, how we're constantly connecting all of our work across content areas. And next. One of the highlights that I did not put on that list is that we also ran an Acceleration Math Academy during February break. We had 5 teachers from McKay and Longzhou, 3 paraprofessionals. We brought some high school students down to help with it, and it was 45 students from McKay and Longzhou. The grant was funded from DESE. And the initiative really allowed our students to advance their math skills during the break, but also we included professional development for the teachers. So we were aware that this opportunity would only be offered to a small amount of students, so we wanted to ensure after the academy that the teachers and my visitors here were able to model some of the activities that they did during the academy in the classroom with their peers who did not participate. And it just offered a platform to work on real-life math concepts. There were no computers used throughout the week. And they did a lot of problem-solving, collaborative work around enrichment, STEM activities, And then I'll pause there because I feel like I should allow my visitors to continue this conversation on how the academy went. So I will start with, Rosalie, were you going to just continue and handing these out of what happened during the academy? Did you want to talk about that before you talk about your, yes? Okay. Do you want to pass those out? Yeah, go ahead. She'll pass that and you can pass them out to them.
If it's easier for her to sit and talk,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
All of you can.
Thank you very much.
You want me to?
Thank you.
Come on. Come on.
You can do it.
You can do
Thank
it.
you.
Don't be afraid.
Ooh, it's a
So
passport.
this is Rosalie, Deco, James, and Carlos. They're here. We did have a few others that were going to come today. They're not here right now, but we can certainly read their responses. And they're just going to share a little bit about the program, but they're also going to share what they learned and maybe how their confidence changed. I did include with yours, I had 2 parents reach out, one email that I think you have
Yes,
in front
it's
of you.
in front of you.
And also, one of the teachers received a text. That Saturday after our February break, they went to the Museum of Science, and the parent actually texted the teacher to say that they were so excited they couldn't wait to go to the Museum of Science and use some of the things that they learned. So, Rosalie, did you want to start and explain what that passport is that you passed out? Okay, come on. Come on down.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Hi, Rosalie.
So basically, what our passport was about is when we use our passport, we would use a sticker for every day that we were there. And see, this is chunky task for the first page. And what the chunky task was is that we were solving problems that were very tricky, and we had to solve them by doing simpler problems to solve the other problem that is hard. And we would write our answer down in our note, in our little passport, and we would show our teachers, like Miss Conlon was there from McKay, and we would show her our answer. So she would put a question on the board, and we would put an answer on our passport, and we would have to show our teacher our answer, and then she would give us like a sticker for every day that we were there.
Very good.
So you had to answer a question Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday?
Yeah. There's a lot of other subjects too, like contemplate and calculate, decide and defend, and then enrichment team player.
Did you have to show your work too, or just the answer?
You could show your work, but you could also write your answer if you wanted to.
So when you did this, did you work alone, or did you work at groups at sometimes together working on a problem?
What I remember is that I mostly worked alone because I wanted to like answer my question myself.
Okay.
And that's how I would like do the problem quicker, but actually get the answer right.
Good. Thank you.
So when I was in the Math Amazing Race program, some things that I learned there was chunky tasks, getting unstuck. So it was like about like there sometimes when we were in the class we would have to like there was circles like when we like would have to make it in a shortcut way to like count them, and then we'll do like some STEAM games. So one time when I was in my class doing a STEAM thing, like I got in a group of 4 and I like worked with my team to like do like it was like we had to make like a paper airplane, or it was something I had to like throw fast, like throw far away, and we all worked together to make it, and ours went 12 feet.
Wow.
I think.
Oh, wow.
And we won the challenge, and we all got something. Like we all got coupons for winning the challenge.
Nice.
So how did you make the airplane go 12 feet? What were some strategies that you used to do that?
Did you use math?
No, not really.
No? I think you had to, right? Yes.
Feel like.
You don't know it's called math, though. I'm sure you did.
Any other questions?
Had all different materials to try, so it wasn't, they had different paper, foil, anything that they wanted to use, and it came very close between.
Bricks?
Yeah. So
Rocks?
Paper clips, maybe? No?
What ended up working the best for your team?
what ended up working the best for my team is that we decided to like kind of put our papers together to make a long paper. Or was it?
Oh. It was like a long airplane.
Yeah. And then we had to like take a straw. So it was kind of like science. We had to take a straw and try to blow it as far as we can. And then we had to leave our paper airplane there so that we could measure it to see how long, to see how far it went. Okay. So like, what's your name again? Deco's group went 12 feet, and they used measuring tape in order to measure how far it went, and they had to use math in order to know how far it went, and they worked together to make the airplane.
Good. Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just remembered that it was a rocket. We had to make a rocket and like.
You made a rocket?
You had to make a rocket too.
Like a paper rocket.
Paper rocket.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about your confidence or anything that you took back to math class after the academy?
So, my confidence level, because I was kind of struggling in math class because I didn't really understand. Like I was working on, I think I was working on fractions before I went to the academy, and I didn't really understand it. And then once I went to the academy, it actually boosted my confidence level in order to help me do fractions so that I could multiply fractions.
Oh, you can multiply
Nice.
fractions?
Nice.
So I have a question for all of you. So this happened during your February vacation, right? When you went to the academy? Was it worth taking part of your vacation week to go back, to be back in school and learn
Yeah.
math?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's good. It's nice that you did that.
It's school vacation school.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun because like we were learning, but we also had fun as well.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Can you believe that? You can do
Great.
both at the same time? It's amazing, right?
Awesome.
So it was, I'm going to let these boys speak, but what was helpful is that McKay is the feeder school to Longjo, so it was nice for 4th and 5th graders. We did a buddy for one of the sessions, so we had 4th with 6th and 7th and 5th with 8. So it allowed some of the students at McKay to see and experience the classrooms that they'll be in the next couple of years. So that was really important, as well as there were teachers from Longjo and from McKay. Go ahead.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great job.
They're just going to tell you quickly about their confidence and what they brought back from class.
I'm going to read a different student. He was able to come. Hello, my name is Kendrick Lane. For winter vacation, I attended Acceleration Academy for math. I wasn't happy at first when my mom signed me up because I wanted to enjoy my vacation. The first day I entered, it was so great. I was learning so much. Math is not my favorite subject, but it was good to learn different concepts with others. My goal is to get a an A in math. Thanks you for creating this program, and I hope it will continue.
Very good.
All right.
Go.
So that was another student's
Yeah.
kind of reflection on how it went. Do you have a reflection you're going to read?
Yeah.
About what you thought of the program? Okay, let's hear it.
My confidence changed in math because the shortcuts make it more easier to work and get my answers quickly, and you have to think about it and see if it is reasonable answer.
Yeah. It's probably the most efficient way, right? Not shortcuts, efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, right?
I like the fact how honest you were about really not wanting to go, but you liked it. That's good. That's good.
Share before we finish up? Something that's changed for you?
So something that I have learned in that program was how to divide, because at first, at the start of the school year, I didn't know how to divide, and so the math program really changed my confidence when I was in class, because now I know how to divide and use shortcuts on how to boost my confidence when I have a problem, like I'm dividing, let's say, and when I'm dividing, my confidence is boosted up because now I know how to actually do it, and I wouldn't have to ask a teacher anymore, oh, how can I do this? How do I do that? No, I actually know how to do it now, and it boosted my confidence on how I can actually divide the problem and get the things right.
You could do division.
You can do. You're a division expert now. That's good. Wonderful.
Well, that confidence is carried over to public speaking.
Both of them, right? All four of
You
them,
all did
actually.
such a great
Yeah.
job speaking here.
Well done.
For all of us.
And congratulations for all of you, because you all shared something that maybe you didn't feel comfortable with at first. And so I don't know if there are other students that are watching and they're afraid to maybe voice out and share what they are having challenges with. You might be helping them from home. So thank you so much for being so honest and being willing to share your story.
And I want to thank them all, because when the teachers did go back and do some of these engagement routines in the classroom, they were the more knowing others, so they were a helper for the teacher and for the others. And before we leave, they just have something that they would like to give you from the academy, so I'll let you pass them out, and then we're done if there are no more questions for us.
You're not giving us a test to take, are you?
Oh, we get fancy water bottles.
Oh, you did such a nice
Mrs. Chandler,
cool.
do you want to read? I think you should read
Thank
the
you
email.
very much.
Read the email. The email? Read it. Yes. Do you have it in
Great
front of
job.
you?
Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Do you have that email? Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's right here.
Here you go, Tim.
Thank you. The amazing math race. Awesome.
Very neat.
So we did, and we do have some parents here as well, so thank you all for bringing your students. I appreciate it. We did receive an email, which you have in front of you, from Cynthia Lane a couple days after. She said, "Good afternoon, Tammy. I just wanted to take a moment to sincerely thank you and the entire team for organizing the Math Academy. My son had a wonderful experience and learned so much in just a few days. It was amazing to see his growth and confidence in mathematical thinking, and I truly appreciate the effort and dedication that went into making this program such a success. Thank you again for creating such a supportive, enriching learning environment. We are grateful for this opportunity." So it was very nice to get that. And I do want to do a shout out to the teachers, because to your point, Mr. Walsh, it is February break.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so
everybody.
to have the teachers and paras, and I had a nurse and 2 administrators that were there, it was a success. So we hope to continue. Thank you.
That's nice. Thank you.
Quick Shout out to Mrs. Chandler, because Mrs. Chandler actually worked with the state to get the funds through the grant. In addition, she worked with the administrators to organize the entire week, and you were an on-site administrator that week too. So thank you, Mrs. Chandler, for all the work you do. It's appreciated.
Good job, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Did anyone have any questions for Tammy before she runs off?
The one thing I like in your slide, this is, where is it? Let me find it. I just want to read it properly. Where'd it go? Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. I think back, there was probably a year or so ago, they did an interview with a woman, Michaela Schifrin, who's a professional skier, and she holds the records for most World Cup victories, more than any man or woman. And she was favored to do very, very well, and I forget which Olympics, and nothing went right. And she had a very short statement, and she said, just because you fail doesn't mean you're a failure. And I think that it's nice that's there, that you can learn. Sometimes you remember something when it didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, and I think that's an important thing for everybody to remember.
I appreciate you bringing that up, because that is something that we are constantly talking about. It's not about being quick and finding answers, and mistakes matter, and just grappling with it is so important. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
I like seeing it, teaching algebra at the 8th grade.
Yes.
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 I'll go back several years. We were not allowed to teach algebra in the 8th grade because they taught it at the high school. And
Isn't that the point? Like a pre-algebra?
well, I mean, then we'd be changing the curriculum at the high school if we did some things. So.
Or we'll be actually providing students with advanced opportunities to get further in their coursework.
They're going to be able to take a lot more opportunities and a lot more classes. And I have to thank Mr. Thompson, because it was one of the first things that we worked on when I came into this position. But we wanted to make sure the other districts that we reached out to, it would only go to a certain student. And it was important that we offered this to all students. And we partnered with the families, that it is going to be rigorous, but that everyone gets this opportunity. And we have a very diverse group of 8th graders going on to geometry and more. So
It's great.
yeah, we're very excited. So
I just
thank
think
you.
there's so many little things that can help students along the way. I remember when I was a teacher, I never marked on the top of the paper how many wrong.
No.
I always marked, if it was 100, can you imagine to take a 100-word math test and then mark one wrong on the top?
Yeah.
You know, I always mark 99 right. Spelling, 10 spelling words every Friday, 10 right, 9 right, 8 right, never one wrong.
Right. Yes. And some teachers highlight, just take a look at what we highlighted.
Focus on what we're doing right.
Yes.
I like that perspective.
Yeah. Charles, come on up.
Come on down, Charles.
Come on, Charles. This is Charles, and he's
Charles.
from McKay. Come on over, and if he can just get a moment to share.
Yes, of course.
Oh, that's why we're here.
We were hearing all about the math.
Let's see if I can find, I know you wrote some notes down, and I have it here for you. There we go.
Do I read the question first?
No, you can just share your, however you want to share about your experience.
Hi, Charles.
Hi. I feel confident. I feel more confident in math because at first I didn't really like math. I thought it was just a boring subject. I thought it was just something to get out of the way in school. But after I went to the Longzhou Math Academy, my confidence grew in like word problems and just math problems in general. I feel like learning Decide and Defend really helped me with my math problems and helped me explain my answer and how to really get the question done.
That's wonderful. Nice.
Great. It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for
so
sharing.
much, Charles, for sharing.
I think we're going to see more Charles.
I think so, too.
In a good way.
In a good way, yes.
Yes, he looks comfortable at that podium.
Comfortable and
Yeah,
confident.
confident.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you very
I
much.
did want to share one more thing that I think is really important to highlight, and kudos to you, Tammy, and I know Amy and Grace as well. I think one of the things that was so special about this academy, and I'd love for us to duplicate and emulate this work again, is that it wasn't an academy for only student learning. It was an academy for teacher learning as well. So while the teachers were actually practicing the work, they were able to get direct feedback and coaching on what was happening. So there were two groups of people that were growing and learning during that week. I think it's a really great model. I'd love to expand on that model, but I think that's a really important point to highlight.
And Grace did bring that back. She went to Washington to speak about different programs, and she actually shared our program in Washington, saying that it was important to keep funding. And so she shared some of the work from our students to say it was really important. So,
Well done. Nice.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Round of applause. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Make sure you do your homework. Your math homework, at least. All right. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. I have a out-of-state field trip for your approval. Samantha Boyd and Emma Broussard, two teachers at Fitchburg High School, would like to take the junior MVP students to the Breakers Mansion in Newport, Rhode Island. They just finished reading The Great Gatsby, and students said, we really like to see this actually, what it looked like back in that time period. So they were able to secure some funding from the MVP budget to take the kids. So they're asking to go down on May 15th, and they will be back by the end of the school, well, actually at 3 p.m. So they're leaving about 7:35, coming back at 3 p.m.
What an awesome opportunity.
It is.
How many students?
24.
Ooh.
So that's, and we can wait until we approve the action items later, if that's okay?
Okay.
That's okay?
There's nobody.
All right, so I would like to give you a very brief update this evening on where we are with our strategic plan. So as you all know, back in the fall, we started updating our strategic plan for the next 5 years. And we've come a long way so far. And let me just, of course, this is not going to work when I need it to. I wanted to review with you where we are and where we will be going, and when we'll have the final strategic plan ready for review. So as you all know, we began our work in the fall, and we began by soliciting stakeholder input from our students, our family members, and all the community members in Fitchburg. And in addition to that, you also were a part of this too. We conducted several surveys, and we also had several focus groups throughout the fall to gather people's input on what they really think about Fitchburg Public Schools in the next, areas that we need to focus on for the next 5 years. On top of that, we did an extensive data analysis and looked at all our data, from MCAS testing, from vocal reports, from school and climate and culture reports. You name it, we looked at that. So we looked at all that data and information, and then we moved into the second stage where we are now. We looked at our vision and mission, which our vision and mission the draft just got done at our last meeting in March, and actually went out to you on Friday to actually look at and give us some input by email. So if you haven't taken a second to look at our draft vision and mission, please do so and give us some feedback on what you think of that. And then we also looked at our values and priorities moving forward for the next section of the strategic plan. That being said, where we are now, we're kind of in the past the midway point, and we'll be meeting this coming Wednesday to look at our goals and actions that we will be implementing on our strategic plan for the next 5 years. And then we'll also be discussing what measurements and tools we're going to be using to actually measure that impact over the next 5 years. And then the last step is just to launch that, and I'm hoping to be launching this beginning in July, if not in September when we begin school again. So that's kind of a quick overview of where we're at. So what have we accomplished so far? Like I said, we've spoken to and facilitated several focus groups involving community members, teachers, parents, and students. We've also designed and administered a number of different surveys, like I said, to get feedback. We conducted a comprehensive assessment of all our data and our data points and looked at reports. What I'm really proud of is we recruited and established a dedicated steering committee. We have about 12 to 15 members, would you say, Glenda, on our steering committee?
Yeah, I would say that.
Made up of teachers, parents, administrators in Fitchburg that meet with us every couple of weeks to actually do the really important work of developing this strategic plan and looking at all the data points. So I just want to thank this team. Without this team, we couldn't do this work. They've been very valuable. Like I said, we launched our steering committee. They've been doing a lot of this work and driving the strategic initiatives. One of the big pieces that we've done is making sure that we are bringing this back to all our different stakeholder groups, especially our administrators, our teachers, and our cabinet members, because not everyone can attend the steering committee. So we actually been updating them throughout the process and getting their input. So we can actually hear their voice and make changes based on the feedback that they're giving. And then, again, making sure we are transparent and we're giving everyone regular updates on where we're at, whether that's, again, our administrators, our school leaders, or our teachers, and then our instructional leadership team at all our schools throughout the district. So that's where we've been and what we've accomplished. Moving in, I'm sorry. Some of the things that I wanted to just show you and share with you. First on the left, that just an example of the survey that we sent out to the committee that we're able to get feedback from all our different stakeholders. And then in the middle, you can see it's just a quick document talking a little bit about the work that was done during the focus groups this year.
It's really easy to read, John.
I know, sorry. I wanted to make sure you could see the photos. And then last but not least, it's just the role of the steering committee. Again, that steering committee that's really guiding the work and doing a lot of this work with us. That's some of the outcomes. And then just looking at the data, number 4, that's a quick snapshot of some of the data that we were looking at. A vocal snapshot, or the vocal data, is actually the data that we gather from students every year at the end of the MCAS test. So students in 4th, 8th, and I think 10th grade, after the MCAS test, they actually have a survey that they take on the school climate and culture, and that data is reported out every year for us to look at and use that in our decision-making process. So one of the great things is partnering with Focus Schools and Carrie Purcell. She was actually able to take all these large data documents that we have and really can summarize those into actually smaller, manageable chunks. So she's been so valuable in actually doing that data process with us and actually taking that data and bringing it down so all the members of our steering committee can actually look at the data and understand the data. And then something that we did is called, something else that we did was called a SWOT analysis that looks at the strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats. So we went through that exercise with a number of different factors that we looked at through this process. And then finally, the last piece there is we really looked at our current vision and mission and talked about what a vision should do and what a mission should do. And we found out ours were way too wordy and long. So we were able to condense our vision in a really small and succinct way. And we are also able to refine our mission to actually coincide with the work that we're currently doing now. So those are some of the pieces that we did and some of the examples to show you of the work that we've been doing in the steering committee. And then last but not least, our next steps. We're going to be, again, coming back and looking at more trends and looking at more data. We're going to establish our goals and priorities for our next strategic plan. Again, we'll be coming back to you to seek more input. So make sure when you get that opportunity, you provide us with that input. And then we will hopefully have an early writing of our strategic plan to you by May, June, that I would like to bring back and show you for you guys as input. And then last but not least, we'll then talk about, during the final stages of our strategic plan, how we're going to measure that impact. What are we going to use to assess that what we actually set out in the strategic plan is actually working and providing opportunities and success for our kids. So I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I wanted to give you a quick update on where we're at currently with our strategic plan. Does anyone have any questions regarding the work that we've been doing or where we're at or what next steps are going to be?
Just a comment, it was quite easy to follow you, and I appreciated the manner in which you presented it.
Thank you, Rosemary. I was trying to give you a high level.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
How long is the strategic plan for? 3 years?
5 years.
5 years.
Yes, 5 year strategic plan. Yep.
5-year plan.
5-year plan. Any other questions? All right, great, thank you. All right, moving on to our next item, Jeremy and I and Glenda would like to give you an update on where we are with our budget prep. I can't talk today, can't say that word. Let me just push this through, go up here, wait 1 second. All right, that should work. There we go. So you also have this document in front of you. So as you know, it's budget season, and we have been hard at work preparing the budget. This evening, our purpose this evening is to really talk to you about the work that we've been doing and give you an update from all the meetings that we've been having with all our district administrators, in addition to our school administrators, on the asks for next year. So that being said, up here we have some positions that we're going to be talking about. And we've met with all the principals, we've met with all the district administrators, and right now we currently will be talking about this evening 13 additional positions that we will be requesting for the 2025-2026 school year. That being said, the additional staff that we'll be asking for are all because of additional enrollment throughout the district, whether it's at the lower level or the higher level throughout the district, or in need of shifting some staff members because of the opening of the new Crocker Elementary School. So we're going to get into the 13 positions that we will be requesting for next year in a second. But Jeremy, do you want to walk us through some of the other items here regarding where we're currently at with our funding?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we're in year 5 of a 6-year rollout for the Student Opportunity Act. It has provided a significant boost in funding from the state. That's the Chapter 70 part, which is great. We will work living within those means. Obviously, that's a very important thing for us to consider when we're building that budget and trying to meet the foundation budget, which is $110 million from a previous presentation we made. We are very carefully, though, monitoring, it feels like sometimes daily updates about federal funding. We do receive about $6.3 million in federal grant funds. The largest funding sources there would be Title I and special ed, the 240 grant that's referred to. That's about 4.7 million of the 6.3. So, I think as it flows down to the bottom bullet, we are in a good place with ratified contracts and agreements. That makes budgeting much easier when you know what the numbers are going to be, whereas we didn't in this year. We have a tentative agreement with the final group we're negotiating with Unit B, which is for us as assistant principals, directors, and student SPSAs, the Student Program Support Administrators.
Very good.
Yeah. It took me a second there. I think ultimately that leads to us really needing to take a conservative approach. We had quite a few more requests than 13 additional positions. And not to say any of those were frivolous by any means. We just have to be careful about, moving into 25, 26, and really even beyond that. With many unknowns, and some of those are listed in the parentheses there. Enrollment being a big factor, the inflation rate index that's used by the state when they determine the foundation budget the following year, and then ultimately, are there going to be reductions to federal grants and any other factors sort of outside of the control of any of us in the city or the school system?
And that being said, we don't know right now if there will be any, reductions in federal grants or title funds. So again, we'll update you as soon as we know it, but we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen, and we don't have any information yet to share on that. So again, if we do, we will let you know. But as Jeremy said, we are taking a very, very conservative approach for this budget. We did have several other positions that were requested, but we really looked at what is the need and really what is that need based on our enrollment and our current programming. And I'll explain that in greater detail in a second, okay?
Federal funds could be a major problem, and we have to make a response to the government on DEI.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
And will we?
So as of this morning, was it this morning at 11, I received a email from the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents, and I was told to hold and wait on that until I hear from Patrick Tutwiler, our Secretary of Education, in addition to our Attorney General. So I was told to hold off on that until further notice.
Okay.
Okay?
And may come to a discussion on what we...
It may have to, yep. And as soon as I get information, again, I'll pass it right down to school committee, all right?
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, do you want to talk about some of our enrollment themes this year?
Yeah, so I know we talked about this on March 17th at the first discussion about FY26 budget numbers. For us, we've seen a big increase in enrollment in this particular school year. Those numbers have even gone up, but the official period at which the enrollment is captured for your following year's budget is the October Student Information Management System submission. And at that time, when we submitted our data, we had increased the overall enrollment by 168 students. And then as you look at kind of the demographics, 193 students more for multi-language learners, ESL, and then another 66 more for our largest demographic group, which is low income. So when you look at that, you say, okay, we need to serve kids. We need to support our kids that we have. We need to help them become the best version of themselves. We saw some excellent examples tonight. They're 4 of 5,300. So I think when we look at some of the 13 additional positions, they're really targeted at trying to support what the students need and what the teachers need to be able to support them best. I think this just, again, reiterates how does the Fitchburg Public School and a municipal public school budget work in terms of Massachusetts public schools. The biggest drivers are that enrollment, that inflation rate. That's really the foundation budget, and then that is the contribution from the city as well as the Chapter 70 contribution, which is the state aid. Required net school spending has to be greater than or equal to the foundation budget. So it at least has to meet that $110 million $500,000 that they set for Fitchburg Public Schools for FY26. You can certainly go above, but it has to at least meet it.
And we meet that.
We've been
meet the
meeting it,
requirements.
yes. These are some demographics as just a reminder, as we look at Fitchburg and who we are and what our student population is. This shows you a slide of our kids in the red and the state's overall percentages in gray. And I think that gives a general sense of, the Fitchburg Public Schools and the work that we do together. I think the next slide really shows some of that increase as we're looking at English language learners, first language, not English. We saw some significant increases in some of our schools, like South Street Early Learning Center for multi-language learners. But when you look at 4 out of 5 of our students are high needs, and that simply means they're in one of 3 buckets. They're either low income, a language learner, or a student with disabilities, or they could be all 3 or 2 of 3, but they're at least one of those things. So the vast majority of our students do have specific needs that our teachers need support to help them. And again, I think our investments to help them succeed are going to be shown in what we're trying to do for the positions in 25-26.
Thank you, Mr. Roach. So that being said, I'm going to review with you the positions that we are requesting to add for next year. The first position will be at Goodrich Academy. We would like to add a security monitor there at Goodrich at a cost of $44,800. And this is to support student and staff safety in the building at Goodrich. At Crocker Elementary School, we have 4 positions that we're requesting. Again, a lot of these positions that we are requesting are, one, we're opening up a larger building. So the number of students going to that building, as you know, will be shifting and increasing. So because of that, we need to add some staff members to support the student need. So based on that, we're requesting to add an additional ESL teacher for the increased ESL numbers at Crocker. Because of the additional students and the additional sub-separate programs at Crocker, we would like to add an additional nurse to Crocker, so they'll go from 2 nurses to 3 nurses. And again, Crocker will have several sub-separate programs next year. They'll have 6 sub-separate programs, and the needs, the nursing needs in those programs are higher. Some kids may require additional medications. Some may require additional services. They may have a G-tube and need to be fed through that. And we have increased diabetics at that school with the larger student population, so there is a need for additional nursing support at that building. And then on top of that, we like to add an additional behaviorist or a BCBA to that building to support the behavioral needs, not only in the sub-separate programs, but in our general education. Because remember, we're adding 100 more students to Crocker Elementary School. So that additional position will help manage the student behavior in the building and support the administration there. And then last but not least at Crocker, we need to add a building custodian. We're going from a small building to a larger building with much more square feet. And in order to get that route done, we need to add an additional building custodian. So the estimated cost for that at Crocker is about $315,000. At South Street Early Learning Center, we have 3 positions that we're requesting. Again, all because of enrollment increases. Our enrollment is increasing at the Early Childhood Center. We are over 400 students now at the Early Childhood Center. So because of that, to keep class sizes small and manageable, and to let the kindergarten teachers to do the work that is most needed for our earliest learners, we are asking for another kindergarten teacher to keep class sizes low, which is low 20s. We're asking for an additional ESL student. Like Mr. Roach said, we have more ESL students in our district, and this is one of the locations that we will need an additional ESL teacher to service students. And then last but not least, we currently have an art teacher over at South Street, but she's only .6. We actually have to push that to a full-time position, a full-time art teacher, so we can actually cover the specialists. So we can service the kids for art special and then also cover our other general education teachers' preparation periods. So we have to go from a .6 to a 1.0 art teacher because of the services that are required at South Street. So that's in the amount of $265,500. The largest ask this year is our special education population. Right now, we are asking for 5 additional special education positions. We're asking for an additional 2 Pathways programs teachers. Again, Pathways. The Pathways program is the program that services our students in the autism program or autism spectrum, and this is required to meet the needs of the additional 36 students we have leaving South Street and going into the elementary schools. So we have an additional 36 students that have a diagnosis of autism that need programming. And we have currently in our elementary autism pathways programs, we have no more room. They're fully subscribed. We have full, about 12 students in those classrooms. So we need to add at least 2 more teachers because of the students' needs. That being said, we're going to add 1 classroom at McKay and 1 additional classroom at Crocker. Those are where those 2 programs will be housed. And we have the room to do that. The other piece is because we're adding 2 more Pathways programs, we also need paraprofessionals to support those programs. We actually had that need at 4, but we're able to reduce it to 2. We think we'll be able to shuffle some staff around and some students around, so we're only asking for an additional 2 Pathways paraprofessionals. And the last position that we're asking for is an out-of-district education team leader. We currently have over 170 students out of district, and out of those 170 students, there has to be a administrator monitoring the services that they're getting in their out-of-district placement.
So these are school choice students?
Nope, these are out-of-district students who are Fitchburg students but go to maybe a collaborative because of special education.
Wow, 170.
170, yeah. Yep, 170.
The average cost is about $100,000.
Each?
Yeah. Each, easy.
So
allowing
1.7 million?
It's going to be 12 next year.
Yep. $12 million.
Low budgeting.
$12 million.
I mean, there's offsets like circuit breaker from the state, which is a percentage that you get back, and they're talking about increasing that next year, but it's a significant. This will hopefully address some of that and allow our team to tackle some of the challenges that come with special education. Is highly complex. It's very legal oriented. I was going to say legalistic. It's not that. It's just there are laws protecting the students' rights, and we have to follow them. So I think it'll be and I'm sorry to cut off Superintendent Thompson. I think it'll be a good investment in terms of supporting student needs, but also really trying to do it in the most efficient way that we possibly can.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
So just so you know, our current assistant directors of special education, Kat and Amy, Kat Craven and Amy, she just got married. Lavasser. Amy
Right.
Lavasser. They are currently sharing that 170 student workload, and they are out of district all the time, and they're at these collaboratives running these meetings or attending these meetings virtually, and they're not able to get to the actual needs here in district that need the work that they need to do, whether that's supporting the special education administrator in the school that they are assigned to support. They're not able to do that in a fashion that they feel like they're supporting that administrator. In addition to that, they're not able to meet and support the special education teachers needs in the buildings because they're spending so much time running these meetings out of district. So our thought is if we are able to hire this out-of-district education team leader who will be the support to those 170-plus students, they'll then free them up to do more work here in district to support our students in district that have special education needs.
John, did we have this position before?
We did.
Yeah, this
We
was-
did. We had Jen's position before, but what we did was we ended up hiring 2 assistant directors this past year to see if they could actually share this workload. And at this point right now, they're having a hard time. And to kind of piggyback off what Mr. Roach was saying, if you look at our budget, special education is the most expensive need that we continue to face, whether it's needs of kids coming in to the district or kids that we need to send out for appropriate services. This keeps going up. And the state needs to really look at how they reimburse cities and towns on special education costs because they're skyrocketing. I mean, we have to keep adding more and more money to this line item every year, and I think we're planning on adding another $1 million this year or more, correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be safe, if the circuit breaker goes to 100%, which is what the state is saying, it's at 75% now. So, for an example, if a school is $100,000, and they set, right now, the reimbursement amount is the district pays for the first $52,000. So the remaining 48, you get 75% of that back. So they're talking about the remainder, and it's going to go up to $53,000 next year. So we own the first $53,000, and then any dollar after that, we would get 100% back. That would make a big difference. You know, we try to carefully, you can actually carry your circuit breaker over a year, and it's best to hold it in reserve if you can. What many districts are facing now is they're spending it as they get it, which is not ideal because if you pick up 5 more students that are move in and they require this kind of placement, you can't pay it, and you have to. So, yeah.
Yeah. So so just going back to these 2 pathways programs, if we don't add these programs, that's 36 students that will go out of district.
Absolutely.
At $100,000 a pop.
Yeah, I mean, that's including transportation.
Including transportation, right.
That number.
So bringing these programs in and staffing them and servicing kids and keeping them in district is a cost savings to the district. And we have so many programs throughout all our schools. The only thing is that we're running out of room to do this. So, you know, we like to, after Crocker is done, we probably would like to start thinking about exploring more a possible other space in the city or different buildings.
Don't we have additional space at Longs, Joe?
No, we do not.
Isn't there some classrooms that?
They're all full right now.
Yeah.
There possibly could be 2 more extra ones next year, but they may put like a traveling, someone on
they've got traveling people up there
specialist
now.
will
Yeah,
go
they
into
do.
those classrooms.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, we are reducing some teachers next year. We'll talk about that when we come up budget-wise. Reducing teachers meaning the number of kids in a certain grade level is lower, so we can shift them to a different grade level that's needed. It's not like we're letting people go. It's that we're shifting the need based on our enrollment numbers. So because of that, we'll be able to shift those 2 teachers somewhere else that will open up 2 free spots at Longs, Joe. But that being said, we will have to possibly start looking at next year exploring other opportunities to actually look at our out-of-district special education cost and how do we create programs here in district and where do we put them here in district to actually bring that money back here so we're not having so many kids going out and costing
And
so
not for
much.
nothing, but a lot of these kids have to drive for an hour or 2 hours to get to their programs.
Like some people have to go to Perkins in Boston for the blind. That's a long bus ride. If we're able to ever establish programs like that here, that'd be great. So
the paraprofessionals we have trouble staffing paraprofessionals, don't we?
yes, so it's gotten better. in this last year, but we're still short. You know, I think the hard part is our paraprofessionals are here. They come to Fitchburg, and we do our best to onboard them. But some of them are young and do not have a lot of experience. So this is their first shot. So we're giving them a shot because they want to work with kids, but they just don't have that training. So we have to train them. So we're trying to, again, develop programming at the beginning of the year to get staff trained who are paraprofessionals and on board that have the right skills. But you're right, we continue to look for paraprofessionals. However, because we now have the highest paraprofessional pay in central Massachusetts.
The highest paraprofessional pay in North Central Massachusetts.
In North Central Mass,
Wow.
in Fitchburg. We're hoping to recruit some additional paraprofessionals. Unfortunately, I'm sure you're hearing, a lot of our neighbors are facing really drastic decisions they need to make for school budgets next year. And they're going to be cutting a lot of educators, paraprofessionals, teachers. We're not in that spot here in Fitchburg.
So, I mean,
hopefully we can recruit some of these paraprofessionals or teachers to come here to Fitchburg. So they are still hard to find. They are. But last thing I wanted to say, our total estimated ask for the additional 13 positions is about $956,800. So that's our ask for next year. It's nothing you have to vote on now. We'll be coming back again in May for our additional budget presentations, and that will be something that you guys can ask about and talk about as we
The building custodians now travel. They are not building centered.
They don't.
Right?
They mostly are building centered, correct? But they will travel if needed.
Most of our crews are set up with a senior custodian at each site, and then several building custodians, and they work out of those particular sites. The largest schools, Fitchburg High, 250,000 square feet, has the largest number of custodians that are dedicated to that site. What we do have is a floating custodian, 2 of them, and then we do have a grounds crew that will work
The grounds
around
crew
the
now
works together now.
The grounds crew now floats.
Yeah, we have one that's kind of specialized in Crocker Field, one that specializes in Fitchburg High's athletic fields, but they will, as a team, especially in different sort of bridge seasons, et cetera, when it's appropriate, they work as a 3-man crew operation around the district and where needed.
And so we had to cut approximately 16 staff for the last budget for the negotiations?
18 staff, correct?
18?
18 staff?
Last year,
was
it was like 31 positions.
But
Total, but some
I
of them
think-
are unfilled.
Yep, some are unfilled, but we were able to absorb a lot of those staff into other positions that we had open throughout the district.
Right. And so this 13 is based on our new Chapter 70 allotment, and it fits within our budget.
Yes, it does. It fits
And
within our
leaves
budget.
us with a little bit of breathing room if the federal government were to cut some of our title programs.
So we could not find that money.
Right.
I mean, it's $6.3 million
Total, yeah.
I don't have that left over in the
Right.
budget to make that up. So sorry, am I cutting you off?
No, I was just going to talk
Just to
about
go back
title
to
planning.
title funds, the biggest piece with our title funds is our Title I. It's about $2.8 million, and that $2.8 million is what we use to pay for all of our interventionists at our school. So when we get math interventionists of students struggling in math or reading interventionists, that's where we pay those staff from.
Which, huge help.
Huge help.
All the teachers love them.
Yeah, we can't, and those are the positions that we ended up cutting too, because we had more of those last year. And those are the ones I targeted first to cut. But yeah, that would be the biggest
That's 25.
loss for Fitchburg if we were to lose that. That's devastating, which, I'm sorry to say this, but those positions, those 30-plus people in those positions, they're all veteran teachers. So they've been here, so then that we would have to, if they cut those funds, those teachers would bump out our younger staff and go back into those positions. I'm not saying that's going to happen, But I'm saying worst case
That's what
scenario.
would happen
that's
if they cut.
That's what would have to happen. We'd have to look at that. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. I just wanted to share that, as part of the work that we've been doing in curriculum is really looking at our budget. And so we've really been prioritizing the must-haves on our curriculum lines. We've kind of placed things as what are the supplemental resources that if we, had to lose out on some title funds, what are things that we absolutely know from titles that we must put in our city appropriations? So, our curriculum team has really been looking at a Plan A, which is our current budget, and then what a Plan B would look like should we lose some funding in certain lines. So we are planning ahead so that, we can be thoughtful about continuing the most important work that we have in our district and not losing out on important curriculum resources. And professional development, because professional development is also part of titles.
Good to plan ahead, thank you.
Just one more piece, and then I'll open it up for questions. Up here is just kind of where we are now and what next steps will be around the budget. April 15th, we'll be doing more budget line reviews at the Resource Subcommittee. April 28th, we'll be back here at School Committee, and we'll begin reviewing some of those budget lines. May 5th will be our first public hearing that we'll have. The public will be able to come in and ask questions regarding our budget. That will begin at 6 p.m. We'll start school committee and go right into public hearing, and then we will finish school committee off right after that, and that's our first reading of the budget. May 13th, we'll be reviewing the first reading and making recommendations for our final budget, and then we at the resource subcommittee meeting. And then the last meeting on May 19th, we'll be asking you to review and approve the budget for next school year. Now, open it up for questions. Do you have questions regarding anything I said or presented?
Just the only thing I had was with the proposed new positions, the 2 paraprofessionals for pathways, having been in those classrooms, working with the teachers and paras as a literacy coach, I know how those classes need their paras, and I just want to make sure that that's really looked at to make sure there are enough paras.
We have.
I know you mentioned moving around.
Yeah, there's kids that are coming off IEPs or programming, so.
That's all.
Point well made, yeah.
Yeah. I understand how important the paras are in those pathways classrooms, and if you don't have them, it's a lost opportunity for our students. So I do understand.
So I just had one comment on the student-selected population. It's the first time I can ever remember seeing the students with disability so close for Fitchburg and the state average.
Yes.
That I've never seen that before.
Because we've always been higher, significantly higher than the state.
Significantly higher.
Last time we were 25% and they were 20?
25%, but maybe the state was 12 to 15. Yeah, I've never seen it this close before. Yeah.
Other questions on the budget and what I presented? Again, this is just letting you know where we're at. Not making any decisions tonight, but we'll be requesting 13 additional positions. Okay?
Right.
All right. Thank you, everyone. All right, the last 2 pieces I have for you this evening are finally our calendar for next year. And then I have some changes I need to talk to you about regarding regarding our early release times. So we've been working hard to develop the calendar for next year. One of the reasons why I'm coming to you in April with this is I really wanted to get feedback from families and also staff members regarding calendars. And the big pieces that I heard regarding our calendar from families, from parents and guardians, is having early release for conferences all on the same evening. When you have when you're a parent and you have a child at Crocker, and then maybe Longjo, and then maybe Fitchburg High School, and you only have 2 hours to get to all conferences. In the evening, if you're a parent who works and only has that 5 to 7 slot available, it's really difficult. I heard that from so many parents.
We used to stagger them, John.
Yeah.
We used to.
In addition, I also heard it's very hard to get through, conferences when parents are trying to run from school to school. So what I did is I worked with the union leadership, and we actually were able to move our early release days next year. So in the calendar, as we go through it in a second, you'll see that there is early release days for conferences next year on different days for elementary students, for middle school students, and high school students. Okay? So that's one of the big major shifts, okay, that you'll see in the calendar. The other piece with the school calendar is because of the shifts that I made in the early release times, making them different days for our conferences for elementary, middle, and high school, I had to look at our early release times. Because if one school, let's say an elementary school, gets out early for early release, then there could be a problem with buses later on for the high school. So because of that, I have to make some shifts in early release times, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a second. So that being said, I'm going to go through our first reading of our calendar for next year, and then answer any questions that you may have. So that being said, in August, we will be starting on August 20 and 21st for our new teacher orientation this year. It's 2-day new teacher orientation. Also, as you can see, that we are starting after Labor Day again this year for all the construction that's happening in our schools. In addition of the new opening of Crocker, we need that extra week, really does make a difference. So that's why it's starting after Labor Day this year again. So teachers will be starting, though, the last week of August. August 25th will be the asynchronous day for all staff members. They are able to log in and complete their mandated training on the computer. So they'll be doing that on the 25th. And then teachers and staff will be coming in on August 26th, 27th, and 28th for school-based professional development or district-wide professional development. Paraprofessionals actually will be coming in on the 26th for a half-day professional development on the 26th, but all other staff members will be here 26th, 27th, and 28th. Then we'll shift into opening week. September 1st is Labor Day. There's no school. September 2nd, their classes begin for grades 1 through 12. On September 4th, classes will begin for kindergarten students. This is also another shift of practice here in Fitchburg.
After Labor Day?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Well, we're shifting. The change for the kindergarten is we are actually starting a couple days earlier. Typically, kindergarten students don't start until the second week, or here it would be September 8th. That's typically when they usually start.
Earlier.
They're going to be starting earlier this year, and this is for 2 reasons. The first reason is I heard from my kindergarten teachers and the administration at the South Street Early Learning Center, and they said that it's really nice that they wanted our kindergarten students to be in before our preschool students start, so they could actually have a few days without them to show them the structure and routines because they're new to school. So that's one of the reasons why we made this shift, but also allowing us to start on September 4th will then allow us to get out a little bit earlier this year for kindergarten, and you'll see that the last day for kindergarten this year in preschool will be on June 12th. That being said, that gives us the ability to start screening our incoming students for the next school year, that last week of school, or the last week that teachers are here, that week of the 15th through the 18th. That will allow us to have kindergarten screening. We've never done that before. We've always had screening during the school year, and that was another request from our teachers. If they were able to get an idea of how those kids are coming in a little bit earlier, they'll be able to plan better for them and create better learning experiences for them. So that's why you see that shift here, okay? So again, that being said, kindergarten will start on September 4th. And then that following Monday, September 8th, the preschool students will be starting. October 13th is Indigenous Peoples Day. There's no school. October 23rd, there's an all-school professional development day for an early release. November 4th will be our full-day professional development for all staff members. On November 11th, there'll be no school for Veterans Day. And then this is where we start seeing the changes in conferences. On November 19th, there'll be conferences for middle school, grades 6 to 8, and it'll be an early release day. On November 20th, there'll be conferences for the high school, grades 9 to 12, and that will be an early release day. Then on November 26th, we'll have Thanksgiving recess. We'll begin that. It's an early release. And then we'll be off that Thursday and Friday, the 27th and 28th, for Thanksgiving recess. Going into December, you'll see that this is our third conferences. Will be on for elementary students, pre-K to 5, will be on December 4th. That will be an early release day. And then you can see this year, our last day of school before December vacation will be an early release day on December 23rd. And then we will be on break from the 24th all the way to Friday, January 2nd, 2026. We saw that we'd rather come in as an early release day on Tuesday and provide everyone with a longer weekend, and it's silly to come back on a Friday. So we decided to push that back a little bit to provide everyone with more time to be with their families for January and December vacation. We'll reopen school on January 5th. There'll be an early release day on January 19th. I'm sorry, there'll be no school on January 19th for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Then we get back into our conferences in February. February 11th will be conferences for grades 6 to 8. It'll be an early release. February 12th will be conferences for grades 9 through 12, and that will be an early release. And then we'll have February vacation from the 16th to the 20th. In March, we'll have, March 19th, we'll have an all-school professional development day. On the 19th, it will be an early release. And then we have decided to make the next day, March 20th, another full day early release day. So we have a half day on the 19th. Students will leave on the 19th, go home, and then they'll be home on Friday, the 20th, for a full day professional development for teachers. And then we will have March 26th, we'll have the elementary pre-K to 5 early, it will be an early release for conferences. April, we'll have April 20th to the 24th will be no school for April spring vacation. May 25th, there'll be no school for Memorial Day. And then June, we have our graduation dates. Goodrich will be on June 4th. Fitchburg High School will be on June 5th. Last day of school for preschool and kindergarten will be on June 12th. And the last day next year with no snow days will be on Tuesday, June 16th.
I absolutely love the new calendar format. It's fabulous.
Isn't it?
I'm pointing to this one down there.
It is really such an improvement. Excellent job.
I said to her, I said, we need to make this a little bit more streamlined and easier to read.
Oh, it's really great.
It was difficult. So Mary Alexandra takes all the formatting.
Good job.
Congratulations on doing that, Mary.
I love it. Great job.
So, sorry.
One question.
Yes. Did I make a mistake this year, Jim? Because I always make mistakes on this.
It's me. I just want to make sure I have this correct. On all the days when there's early release for teacher conferences.
Yes.
everybody's getting out early release, not just,
No.
just the grades?
Just the grade that I said.
Okay,
Yep.
I wanted to
Yep.
make sure, okay.
And because of that, Jim, I had to change the early release time. So if you go to the next page, in yellow, this is the recommendation I am making for next year's early release times and actually moving forward. So Fitchburg High School, currently on an early release day, they leave at 11:30. The proposed new time will be at 11:05, so kids will be dismissed at 11:05. For Memorial, current time is 11:30. The new proposed time is at 10:50. Longsjo is at 12:05 currently. The new proposed time is at 11:25. At South Street, the current time is at 12:20. The new proposed early release time for next year will be at 11:40. And then for Crocker, Rheingold, and McKay, their current early release time is at 1:05, and the proposed new early release time will be at 12:25.
So by making an earlier release time, does it allow us more days or less days?
Nope.
Total learning time?
No, it just...
Same.
It's pretty much the same. We have a few extra, fewer minutes
Because
on
each
time
day,
for learning.
it gets shorter.
It gets shorter, but we do have plenty of time on time on learning. One of the things I did have to check is I had to check with our food service department. Dave Semenza said that these times are fine. It's not going to cause any problems. And the biggest piece is our transportation department, our buses. We had to run this by them, and they said that this time works for them, and it's actually much better.
And it doesn't cost us more money?
It doesn't cost us a cent more.
Thank you.
No.
And the reason for that is, so like on, in March, when it's teacher conference for pre-K through 5.
Yes.
The 3 elementary schools' early release time, that allows the buses to pick up those children, drop them off, and then those buses will be back in time for the regular release time for the other schools.
For example, like they'll get out at 12:25, and then if we didn't do that, they wouldn't be able to get back for the Memorial in Fitchburg High School that start at 1:50 and 2:50.
All right, no, good job.
That's because that's the shift we had to make. Okay.
All right.
And again, that's just the first reading tonight, and we're coming next time for the second reading. So, any questions on the calendar or times?
Good, John.
No, very good.
Okay. All right. And donations. Where are we with our donations? So we have 2 this evening. The first one is, I'm looking at, is from Digital Federal Credit Union, and this is for Fitchburg High School in the amount of $10,000. These monies will be utilized for scholarships for members of the current class of 2025. Amazing.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
How many, 10?
It depends on how much.
Yeah.
It's probably $1,000 a piece, Mr. Roach, correct?
Depends on how they configure it, how many applications they get. This goes back to the banks solicited, and they're doing a great job with, hearing the request and making that donation.
So that's one.
1,000 probably.
Probably 1,000,
It could be
right?
15, it could be 750.
Depending on how many people apply.
Yeah.
And then the last one, again, from Fitchburg High School, and it's from Global Partners in the amount of $500. These funds are going to be used for the science, technology, and engineering or math programs, the STEM programs at Fitchburg High School. So those are up for approval this evening. And then I have one grant for you to accept from the Mass Learning Project. The funding source was the 1-8 Foundation in the amount of $900. And this will actually pay for student transportation to the Mass Open Sci-Ed Community Day in Norwood. Okay, that's coming up. When's that? Is that in May?
No, we actually have one that's coming up a lot sooner.
Sooner, okay.
Yeah.
But those funds will be used to pay for the transportation.
Yep.
And I have no policy items, Mayor, so I'll hand
No
it back to you.
policy items.
I'd just like to thank and I don't know if this is Mary Alexander as well, for the sheet that has all of the acronyms. in
I was
the
going to say the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a
Thank
great
you.
resource.
Appreciate
Can I
that.
mention one more thing, Mayor?
Yep.
Not only the acronyms that Mary Alexandra did, but in your packet for you to look at and just to see our meeting dates for next year for school committee. And then we also put together a draft of the the subcommittee dates for next year. So take a look at
Which I
these.
love this too.
Yep, take a look.
So much easier.
Yep.
We're always a work in progress. We're always getting better every
We
year.
can always improve.
We can. So that's all I have for you, Mayor, this evening.
I appreciate
Thank you very
that
much.
so much. And the acronyms. Oh. I'm still learning.
It's a working document. You may get more copies coming along as we add acronyms.
And there's always another one. We said we got to add that to the list.
Okay. All right. So we have action items before us. 25,498 through 25,503. Those the
I'd like to make a motion to bundle action items 25-498 through action item 25-503.
Second.
motion and second to bundle all listed action items. Any questions or comments on the motion? Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Squalia?
Aye.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Dr. Knight?
We can't see you, Dr. Knight, if you are.
I don't see her. Stepped away?
We will assume she stepped away.
Mrs. Jeffries?
Yes.
All right, great. That will take us as unanimous for bundling the action items. We now have the bundle before us.
Make a motion to approve the bundle?
Second.
Motion and second to approve the bundle. Any comments or questions on the motion? Okay, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Squalia?
Aye.
Mr. Stevens? Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Dr. Knight? Mrs. Jeffries?
Yes.
All right, thank you. That's approved. Other business? We don't have other business, do we?
No other business.
We have no executive session. We have a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion and second to adjourn. I'll take that by unanimous consent. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.